Okay, I'm back, and it's in the green, so that's awesome. Fix that. Hot dog, I'm the best tech on the farm. Anyway, what I was wanting to talk about, and I will change the title, is the Killbox theory. I had a couple of comments about the Killbox, and in all my videos, if I get video of something, I try to put exactly what's in the video in the title. And if I can't fit it all in there, I'll put it in the description. But I'll always have something, like the kill boxes are always in something. And I suppose I ought to do it in a playlist or whatever, but I just haven't fooled with it yet. Maybe I'll do it this winter whenever there's more inside time. But someone was asking about the kill box and have I ever found anything in it. Like I was saying on my channel, you can type in, I put Wood Booger Farm kill box. Here's one that I found a deer in.
I just tried that.
Stupid ads, right? And if my memory serves me correct, and usually it don't, this is the one where I found tracks, and both deer tracks and booger tracks. Found the kill box, and also the tree that they smacked the deer up against. So yeah, if people's interested in anything, usually I try not to put like, there's things that happen whenever a booger's around, and I'll try to mention that whenever the boogers are around, or if rocks are thrown or something like that, I'll put that in the title. I try not to put that I film Bigfoot, because unless it's right out in the open, then it's always hard to tell. I do put like this one. Did I film Bigfoot? Like in a question mark, and like I think I did in that one. But anyway, back to the kill box deals. This is it's not my theory. I actually learned it from Kumbo. This whenever I was down on LBL. He showed us one down on LBL. It's a pretty good video. And he explained it, and I've kept my eyes out for such things, and I do find them here. And I found several around here, and I found hang on, guys. I found several around here, and I have found rocks in them that just haven't been there very long. I think they use rocks to kill deer. I think they pull these trees down. The whole kill box series, they're pulling trees down to try to herd them into an area. Kind of like a corral type deal. And then you'll find a blind. I mean, you can go back and watch some of these videos. You'll find a blind in it. And I found deer remains in them. I found where one was smashed up against a tree before. There's hair on the side of the tree. The one that got chased, I think they chased it into a kill box, herded it into a kill box. Another one was waiting in a blind area. I don't think I found a rock that day, but I think maybe what happened on that one is they might have struck it with something and then hit it up against the tree, but there was deer hair on the side of the tree. Like they grabbed the deer and smacked it up against the tree. Now, this is nothing I can prove. I've got some evidence for it, but, I don't have this recorded. But their structures have to be for something, and I think a lot of them are for hunting purposes. I know this is the old way that I went live, like doing screen shares and stuff using the OBS. And you can screen share whatever's on my screen will show on the live videos. But YouTube's changed a couple things, so now I had to go back and change a couple things to keep up with them. They're like the computer at work. Once you get something figured out, they want to change it. But anyway. But yeah, I found deer bones, fresh blood in a Killbox before. And like I said, anything, I try to put, whatever I find, I try to put it right into the title. I don't try to do the clickbait titles, anything like that. I mean, I don't like when people do that, But, yeah. That's just, I guess, all I wanted to talk about. Anybody got any questions on the Killbox theory? Oh, they are very fast. A deer's very fast. But, like I say, a deer's just walking through the woods. I think, number one, I think a lot of times the boogers hunt in groups. And, like I said, I found that one with the Bigfoot chasing a deer right into a Killbox. So I think they pull the trees down to kind of corral them. Plus, it kind of takes their attention off their surroundings, and they have to look to navigate the course that's been laid out for them. They have to look. Yeah, I mean, you can put recorders out wherever. I mean, sure, but the problem I've got with recorders, if you put a recorder out, just one recorder, and you put it out for 24 hours, you've got 24 hours of listening. I mean, they've got different things that you can use for it. Like, here's a site that these sites actually show the sound waves, and I guess you can narrow it down, but you might miss a lot. Bigfoot Evidence sent me these links to this, and I haven't even downloaded them or anything yet. I haven't really fooled with it. I mean, I like recorders, and you can pick up some amazing stuff. But what I use my recorder mostly, whenever I go out, I'll have my recorder with me, and I'll turn it on before I stop my ATV or before I get out of my truck. That thing is on, because a lot of times whenever you come into an area, they will make a noise. So it's good to have it on, and I'll leave it on the whole time. Now, if I do hear a noise, I'll take that recorder and turn it off, turn it back on. That way I know exactly where that noise is. But I mean, going through audio is very, very time consuming. But if you do find something, and I mean, it's if you do find something on it, I mean, it can get pretty interesting. And I would, encourage people to use recorders. I mean, that's something that, they use batteries and stuff, but they can run a long time on a set of batteries. And if you're out, instead of just filling up your cards on your video camera or your phone or whatever, to use the recorder to catch the noises and stuff. I mean, have your camera and everything ready too. And whenever I go out, I've got a spare battery for my camera, and I take all kinds of video. And that's just something else you have to go through. And, I'm pretty much just all by myself doing all this. And, I mean, there's just so many hours in a day that on top of taking care of everything around here, I mean, it gets to be a chore. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it, and I like going over stuff. But, I mean, I like to watch other folks' videos and stuff like that, too. Yeah, and like Hiker Dave the other day put out a video about the audio recorder, and I sent him those links, and he was thanking me for the help and all that. And I mean, I told him that people's helping me. I don't come up with all this stuff. I mean, I might come up with a few theories of my own and stuff, but the Killbox theory is definitely not my theory. I mean, I got that from Kumbo down in LBL, and the recorder deal. You can take a recorder, plug some headphones in that recorder, and you've got super hearing. So that's what I told Hiker Dave. I mean, you put the headphones on, you can hear real time what's going on around you, and you can hear it excellent. I mean, it's a lot better than just your regular old ears. Mine's got a ring to them all the time too. But, I mean, it really picks up noises. I use it whenever I go hunting to listen. And like I said, then you've got it going. Maybe you hear a whoop or a good wood knock or something. You can mark it on your recorder, turn it off, or maybe it's got some kind of mark button on it. I really don't know, but it's a very good tool to use. And like I said, it was given to me, so he's a good, honest man. And I follow a few other folks that go boogering, and things that I learn, I like to pass it on and see if it happens like the tree stand deal. Like I'll put up a tree stand, and then a couple of days later, there's a structure around it. What happened to Gray Cat? I don't. What do you mean? Oh yeah, that was last year, I guess. The booger stuck him in the garbage can. Like I'm saying on my videos, if you're interested in that. First, I guess Wood Booger Farm, maybe Gray Cat. Yep. I mean, I try to put whatever's in my videos right in the title. Basically, because I can't remember anything. But here he is. I mean, they put him in a garbage can. I came out one day getting ready to go to work. Heard him scratching around and meowing in this thing. Was looking around for him. And there he is. Poor little Gray Cat. Look at him. Had shredded the bag all up. I mean, they must have came by. He was probably getting underneath their feet. And they stuck him in the garbage can to get him out of the way. So yeah, he's got a bad habit of getting underneath your feet, and that's just what they had a problem. A cat was getting underneath their feet. They could have tripped or made a noise they didn't mean to make a noise or whatever. So their solution was to put him away, and that's what they did. It's kind of funny whenever you look back on it now, but I'm sure Gray Cat didn't think it was very funny. And Gray Cat was never like a cat, that wanted to be picked up and petted all the time. He's kind of always standoffish. But after that, I mean, every time I go out, he's wanting petted and loved on and all that stuff. They gifted me recently. Let's see, I guess the last thing would be the flying squirrel. I mean, and that's another thing. People's talked about it crawling up there and dying, and the squirrel did it itself. And maybe that's possible. I don't know. I've never had that happen here on my game cameras. Usually they shun game cameras, but here recently I've been getting a few interesting things on my game cameras. But I mean, how likely is that? Someone said maybe they crawled up there because the heat the game camera was putting off. And I don't know, maybe I could take my FLIR up there and see how much heat that thing might be putting off. But, it was sitting on top of a game camera in the cold wind and rain to get warm. That don't make any sense. Why not crawl back in its tree where it's got a nice warm nest with its buddies? That's what I'd do if I was a flying squirrel. But, I mean, I guess that was a gift. But I mean, there's always something else. Like in that video, there was a fresh rock right there and a kill box right there. That's where the deer come to feed at. And there's a fresh rock right there where the deer come to feed at. There's no way that rock could have rolled down from anything because the kill box basically would have stopped it. haven't checked around tonight. It's getting about that time where they'll start bringing in deer parts now. It seems like after hunting season, rifle season, today was the last day of rifle season, so probably start finding stuff out in the yard. They brought antlers. Like after the deer sheds their antlers, they'll bring them in. They brought deer bodies. They put deer bodies up in the tree. I mean, I've got several deer skulls. I had a great Thanksgiving. A lot to be thankful for. Yeah, they've left several things on the side-by-side seat. Turkey feathers. And it's, I was turkey hunting whenever they done that. They've left sticks and stuff on it. It seems like they do that whenever I leave it out here where my truck is usually parked at. I park the side-by-side there so I don't have to stumble around in the dark to go out hunting in the morning. But yeah, I got in from work. I've been home for about an hour now. It's pouring the rain outside. I'm pretty sure they're probably still on the property or close by, but I mean, there's, the rain just ruins any type of audio. All you hear is rain. But anyway, yeah, I guess my hunting's not done yet. I still, we still got bow season. We've got black powder coming up. I'm seriously thinking about staying up overnight in the Booger shack. The next time I know they're on the property, and pretty much they let me know when they're here by leaving a gift or making noises or doing their booger things. It might be good to go up there and see it, like especially with the leaves off. It's especially if it's not going to be too cold. We got another cold front moving in where the highs are supposed to be below freezing this week, so that's not good. But I would like to do that. Yeah, they haven't tapped on the window in a while. Like I said, I put the game camera up. I just don't like the idea of the booger man tapping on my window, peeking in at night. I mean, it used to be they would slam the house, and just as soon as I would lay down, I mean, they have to be watching. So, yeah, I took measures to keep them away from not only my house and me, but my pets too. I've got game cameras in the barn, game cameras facing the porch, all that good stuff. Yeah, it is interesting and a complicated relationship. Every time you think you got something figured out, they change it up. Yeah, somebody sent me a link to that. The top 5, I think the one where they tapped on the window and they was up there, which she didn't. I actually think there's 2 boogers in that video. One whenever I first come out the door, and then the one up by the swings. And there's also some eye shine in that video too. If I had it to do over again, I would have took my time and maybe not a grab pearl. The spotlight definitely came in handy, but juggling a 357 in the spotlight, the camera makes for some pretty shoddy camera work. Thank God Bigfoot Tony did a breakdown on that and could straighten it up a bit. Where do I think they go? They've got their territory. I mean, my farm's 200 acres. There's no way you could sustain a clan of boogers, a clan of big predators. They have to move around. If they was to stay here, they would wipe out all their food sources within a week. So they have to roam around. I don't know how many square miles. One time, last summer, I think, I walked around and tried to follow all their tall man trails, and I followed a good, maybe like 75% of them. And it got to where I could pretty much locate them. Every time I went out, I knew about where they would be at. So I've tried that again. Well, they've changed that up now. So, like I said, every time you think you got something figured out, they fool you. They're just highly intelligent, but they have to. I think they stay on the move because of the food situation. If they stayed in one place, all the wild game would be gone. They would just be gone. They wouldn't hang around if a bunch of boogers was hunting them all the time. I think maybe 3 or 4 days is tops where they stay in one location, and probably usually not that long. But there's plenty of remote places around here. It's pretty much just farm country, and just I guess most of the population here, like right around me, are more the old timers. Seems like the younger generations are moving closer into town, stuff like that. Yeah, I've got 2 cameras pointed towards my house, plus I've got security cameras around the house. They're not hooked up, but I think a booger knows about what they are too. I've got one up in the barn so they stay away from the chickens. I think game cameras are the best defense you can get. That and a bright light. The best evidence or situation you've ever encountered here on the farm, I guess that would probably be the tapping the window. I've got eye shine right in the window. I come out and I film. Film a booger or 2, possibly 2. One of them, man, I would bet on. I would bet you that's a booger. I don't know what else it could be. You see out here in the country, see that right there? I think that might be the back of one, because that's one of their spots. There used to be a bunch of creek cane over there. But as far as evidence, I've got stuff on FLIR. I've got there's a couple videos I think I've got them in. And I wouldn't have found this had it not been a viewer saying that they seen it. Because you talk about nerve-wracking. Get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to a hairy monster pecking on your window. You turn on the light and there's its eyeball staring back at you. It's pretty nerve-wracking. It's very exciting. There's also a bunch of eye shot, but right there is a booger. This tree's gone now, but I went back out the next day and shot this same area, and there's nothing there. But you can see the legs, the head, no necks on it, the arms kind of going down and out this way. I don't know. I think that's the so far the best. There's no doubt in my mind what was there. Oh, they're very curious. I think where they're entertainment. They're another guy told me, and I'm not going to mention names or anything because he seems to get upset about his name being mentioned at times. But one guy told me to ignore them whenever they would come. They would come by here and slap the house, slap the outhouse, make different calls and stuff. He told me to ignore them, and it would amp up. They would do more to get your attention. They want to get a reaction out of you. Well, he's right about that. They absolutely do that. And once they know that you know that they're there, then it's game on. They'll do stuff. They've done stuff here, and this just shows an intelligence to me. They've play like jokes on me. And I've got video, which, it's audio. It's at night, of course, so I guess I've got audio of them laughing because they've done something to trick me. So, I guess for their entertainment, they get their go out, get their bellies full or whatever. What else you going to do? Go weave a structure or something? I don't know. For their entertainment, and I guarantee that there's, they do this stuff to other people. Other people might not know what's going on. I guarantee they do it to them. For me, it was just a bunch of different things adding up, and I still wasn't 100% sure that these things were real. But things that would happen here, nothing else would explain it. You could try to explain it with something else, but nothing else really explained it. Yeah, when they threw the stuff to wind, then they laughed at it. And then there's another thing they laughed at before, too. I've never put out cologne or perfume bombs. I don't own either one of those things. I don't have, I guess I've got a camera or something. I could take flash shots, but I don't know. I don't want to say you can't trick them, because I think I have tricked one before, and I didn't do it on purpose. I went to debunk something that somebody said they seen in my video, because I thought it was a shadow, and they thought it was a booger. Turns out it was a shadow. But instead of coming home, I went a different way than I usually go. And I had rocks thrown at me that day, and heard a whoop up on the hill. And that one crossed the trail in front of me on all fours, and I swear I think it had a baby or something on its back. Yeah, I don't know what their day habits. I would say during the day they probably don't move around as much. I think a lot of times Stinky Holler is one of their places that they stay whenever I go up there, and I try to go up there whenever I know they're around, because that's just one of their places. There's a couple more around here that they stay at, but that's one of their stops. And whenever I'm walking up there, sometimes you'll hear rocks getting thrown at you, or maybe a growl or something like that, and it's time to stop and don't go any further. That's a warning that they give you. But around my house, and I've actually heard these being built at the time. There's what I call human observation structures, and they're in direct line of eyesight from where I sit out on the porch, so they can sit behind the structures that they build and watch me. I've actually got one recorded whenever I went live one time of them doing that. I don't know. I was supposed that they would go into caves, but I don't know. I don't know if they would stay underground all the time. I guess they probably could. It would be a great place, great shelter to get out of the weather. And there's a few caves around here that I think they use. Actually, that one I went to before, and I think I jumped one out of there, and it ran down the hill in front of me. Absolutely, I agree that their eyesight is, they've got excellent night vision. And I don't think that they know that we can't see as good at night, because they still try to hide. Like the one I got on FLIR was hiding, picking around a tree. And I think they have excellent night vision. And you hear like the old Native American tales of the stories about them with their big moon-eyed people, and people's description of them with big eyes. Yeah, I think they've got excellent excellent night vision. But they think, I don't know. I think that they think, I have no, of course, have no way to prove this. But like if you're walking at night and you hear a noise to your left, you automatically look to the left. So they probably think that we can see like they can at night. I mean, I don't know how they wouldn't think that. Yeah, I've actually read that book, Kathy, and I think it's all pretty much true. I'm sure they get ailments, all different sorts of ailments. Seems like the sightings are like on the increase now. And like whenever the Europeans first came to this country and we brought our diseases over, it killed a lot of Native Americans. And I wonder if the same holds true for the boogers. You know what I'm saying? That's another reason I encourage people not to feed them. You know, you got your germs on whatever you're giving them, you know, gifting and all that. Could be a dangerous thing. However, over the years, maybe they've built up a tolerance to our diseases and such. And I'm guilty of gifting, and you know, every once in a while I'll leave them some deer liver. Or, like whenever Jay was down, we left some apples out for him. But I mean, if you're going to feed them, I would say do natural foods that they could get by themselves out in the wild. Well, I think because we carry boomsticks, and they know exactly what a gun is. And I'm a firm believer that they're flesh and blood. They can bleed. They can die. I mean, why would you know? I think they're pretty intelligent too. Why would they want to hang around humans? We're a destructive group. Not only is the population on the increase, but people are, you know, we're tearing down habitats and putting up housing developments everywhere. I mean, like down in Florida, draining swamps and putting up housing developments there. I mean, we're encroaching on them. I actually think that's why they got national parks, is for booger protection. Theodore Roosevelt was instrumental in founding a lot of national parks, and he's got a Bigfoot story. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think we're their entertainment. I really do, and we're, you know, like I said, we're in their environment. So, all right, bud, be good. Possibility, dear. I mean, I don't, you know, if they don't want you to see them, then you're not going to see them. I mean, accidents happen, like road crossings where you stumble upon one that, you know, was caught unawares. I think that'd be a rare thing. I think that they definitely have the intelligence. They have the camouflage awareness to hide from us. The Red River Gorge. I've been wanting to go there. I almost went there this year, and I'm definitely going next year. But that looks like a very, very boogery place. I've been through there, but I haven't actually stopped there and checked it out or anything. But man, that's a beautiful place. I would say all their senses are more more in tune than ours are. Um, I mean, you got to think here we are staring at a computer screen, or maybe these artificial lights, and we're listening to loud music and loud noises and all that hurts our senses. But like if you go out and camping in the woods. I mean, really camping, going out in the backwoods and camping. You get in tune with the wilderness around you within a couple of days. Like if you're out camping or hunting or something, you get in tune with that wilderness, and you can tell what's making these different noises. I mean, if you sit out there and you pay attention to what's going on around you. But their senses haven't been dulled down like ours have. And they're very much in tune with the woods. They would have to be. That's how they make their living. And they're pretty good at it. I will definitely let you know, Joshua, and hit me up on the Facebook. Because, like I said, I am definitely interested in coming down there. It's not that far from me. I think it's like maybe an hour and a half. Now, I'm not on Facebook much, but if you send me a friend request, I'll get you on Messenger, and I do like the Messenger. No, it's not that far. Actually, me and Jeremy Harrison lives out that way too. He lives down below it. And we had talked. I can't remember what happened now. I think he had to work, and I just decided not to go or something like that. But yeah, I about went down there this year, and I'm definitely going next year. All right, we'll set it up. I mean, do you go out? Do you go out in the park a lot? I would say that park is plumb loaded down with it. I've looked at it on Google Earth a lot too, and I mean it just looks like a very boogery spot. They got all they need. Plenty of places to hide. I'm sure there's plenty of game there, plenty of water there. I mean that's all they need. Yeah, I hear that, Josh. A lot of people say that, and they ask me why I'm not afraid. And my only answer to that is, I've been coming down here since I was in diapers, and I've lived here full time for about 8 years now, and they've never harmed me. So I don't think that they mean me any harm. If they wanted me gone, then they could have done it a long time ago. Close on this out. Now the output's low. I wonder why it does that. I feel you on that. I mean, did you ever have any trouble out of them? Like, have they ever slapped your house, or like buildings or something around your house, or picked on your windows, or screamed and huffed at you, or anything like that? Do you keep any pet food outside? I mean, even down to bird feed. I mean, all that stuff can draw them in. That's what got it going here. They was stealing 50 pounds of dog food a week from here. I mean, I don't like if they growl at you, then that's some sort of warning or scream or something like that. I mean, that's not happy. How are you noises. Yeah, absolutely, apple trees, berry bushes do too. Mulberry bushes. I've got 3 mulberry bushes around my house now. Hopefully, they'll start producing next year. But they've raided my berry bushes, my garden. They've raided both of them several times. They will wipe out the whole patch of berry bushes overnight. They're coming right up to your house then. Put out a game camera. If you don't want them around your house, put a game camera facing that door. Guarantee it. I won't guarantee it, but I will say I'm 99.9% sure that he won't come back up to your door if you put the game camera there. Oh, it's a dog coming up to your door. My bad. I mean, well, if you've got a loud dog, I don't think it would last very long in booger country. Like my dog, she gets along with him. I think she's actually friends with him. Yeah, they will go after the deer corn too. That's why, like after hunting season's over now, so I'm not gonna be putting out corn. I'll probably put it out in the bottom just because I kind of feel bad for the deers and there's not going to be much corn. But I'll put a game camera on that too. I've asked them to leave it alone, and I've put out the extra garden just for the boogers before. I didn't do it this year, but if they're hungry and they want some tomatoes, they'll come down and get your tomatoes. I mean, like somebody told me before, like at my deer feeders, you can put up a sign that says "for deer, not Bigfoot." Well, the Bigfoot ain't going to care. They're not going to read that sign. So if you tell them something, who's to know if they're going to listen or not? I've asked them not to bother my garden, but it hasn't stopped them. Cane Creek. Uh, no, she was in the messenger group earlier, but sure. Yeah, I think they do the knocks just to say there's a human in the woods, and then maybe a return knock to say, "Yeah, I hear you." They've done that here before too. I've heard that scream before myself. CA, and I mean, it's got some power behind it, right? Keep the kid out chocolate cake. Yeah, if they want it, they're gonna get it. Unless, like I said, you put a game camera on it. They sure did leave my dog food alone after that. They haven't bothered the chickens since I put them up in the barn. I mean, they haven't tapped on my window. I don't know. Whenever I made them with the BFRO before, actually, and they've got a pretty good database. A lot of people don't like them, but the database is pretty cool, I think. And one of the guys that, whenever this first started happening, I guess I was blessed in this. I found a really good guy that had a lot of knowledge, and he's with the BFRO. He's a good dude. We're friends now. I mean, there's different places that you can make them. I mean, I don't know if you want to get your story out. there's several different shows that cater just to stories like that. I'm going to try to get a few on here over the winter whenever I don't get out as much. Yeah, the BFRO's been here before. The guy I contacted with, they was actually doing a group outing at Yatesville Lake, which isn't very far from my house. But they had quite a few people, and they sent half of them here the first night, and we really didn't have too much happen that first night. But the second night we did, and we got followed, and stuff was thrown, and seen something on night vision. It's nothing I could swear to, but basically it was a BFRO outing. The guy that I contacted with was the group leader or whatever, and the other people were just, they paid to come out and learn, I guess. And like I said, the guy, I mean, you can say what you want. Finding Bigfoot is a joke, all right? Everybody knows that. It's interesting to a certain degree, and the people's stories that you hear on it are pretty interesting, but that's not how you booger. And that's not how I booger. Yeah, that's just not how you really do it to get a response. But right. I mean, yeah, there's always going to be people that don't believe it or don't believe anything you put out there. You could put out a perfect picture of a booger and they're not going to believe it because they haven't been told that it's real by their masters, basically. Yeah, the town hall meetings, stuff like that was always interesting. See, every time somebody's come here, except for that first part of the group, we didn't have nothing happen that night. But every time, like Jay Ward, he's in here now, and he's been up here and stuff's happened. And I've had my friends from down in Tennessee come down and something's happened. My sister and her kids come down and stuff has happened. So don't say, I just ask everybody to be respectful of them. And don't act ugly or anything like that. And they're very curious. That's all I can say. They're very curious. I mean, both times Jay's been down, he's had prints on his camper, and Pam and her husband came down, and that's where I got the baby prints on her window. Those are, man, that's some of the best prints I've ever seen. I'm in eastern Kentucky, about an hour and a half east from you, close to the West Virginia border. Yeah, and I mean, you're beating the head your whole life that these things don't exist, that, people are like conspiracy theorists. They've made that into a bad term, even though a lot of the conspiracies have proven to be fact. So you're beating the head and you learn that this isn't real. This creature is not real. And then you have something happen to where you know it's real. So, I don't know. For me, anyway, it makes me question everything else that I've been taught. Come to find out that they've lied about a lot. I don't want nothing to do with ghosts. I've seen them before, and I don't want nothing to do with them. Apparently, I haven't been on Facebook in like 2 weeks, I guess. I don't see it on there, Debbie. I'll look later, though. Yeah, absolutely, Digga. I mean, it's unreal, the lies they've told us, and to what end? I think it all boils down to good versus evil. And, you know, I believe in God, and I think that the Lord Jesus Christ is my Savior. His blood was shed for me because I'm a sinner. I also believe that the devil, Satan, old Scratch, is in charge of this world, and that man has free will. And there's a lot of them that work for Satan, and a lot of them's in high places. And he is the father of lies, and they carry out a bunch of lies and fool us. I don't know, Digger. I really don't know. I don't know. They've got a they've got a big fancy story about going to the moon, but here recently was he Buzz whatever pretty much admitted that they didn't go, and now they can't go back. They've lost the technology, huh? They can't get by the Van Allen radiation belt because they've lost the technology. They destroyed it all. What? So we're paying out billions of dollars to just destroy your technology? Come on. Then you watch some of the films that they put out. You know, they can't even put out a real picture of Earth. It's all CGI. As NASA comes out with these films, and you can see the astronauts that's supposed to be in a space shuttle, and you can see the cables in it. And they're supposedly in this space shuttle with all these high-tech fancy electronics. And they're letting water float around and hair float around and all that float around. Come on. Really? I tell you what, go get you a little bit of water, maybe soak some mushrooms or something in it, and put it on your laptop and see what happens. You don't let water float around in your spacecraft unless you want that spacecraft to crash. I've heard different stuff. I don't know nothing about dogmen. I don't know much about Bigfoot, but I don't know. I've never seen any tracks around here that tells me that Dogfellers is around. Yeah, it's all so crazy. I mean, if you really think about it, and this is about anything that they've taught us, if you really think about it and you use logic, you can see right through it. Yeah, I mean, get in there and research it. I mean, like I said, finding out that Bigfoot's real has been a big eye-opener for me. And then you go and you look into different things. And, man, you find out that they've lied about a lot. And it kind of makes you mad. Because they've... I don't know. I really shouldn't get into it. But, the whole education system's messed up. It's all a bunch of lies. TV lies to you. That's why they call it programmed. They put that picture in your mind so you think it's real. And it's not real. Pretty much they're lying about everything. Everything. I tell you what, the only truth that's out there is in the Bible. I think there's a lot of people that ain't got common sense. And you look at people, go out, next time you're out and just look at people, they're either staring at their phones and not paying attention to the world around them, or pretty much just staring at their phones, I guess. I don't know what else they would be doing. Old Dick Cheney didn't even want them to put the internet out there for us common folks. They wanted to keep that to themselves. But I guess they could figure it out they could make $1 off of it too and put it out there. And now there's There's all kinds of information out there, and I'm not saying all the information is right. I mean, again, use common sense. If it makes good sense to you, then maybe study up on it a bit more, and then make up your own mind. Don't take anything at face value. Yeah, there's an awakening happening for sure. I haven't owned a TV in over 2 years now because of finding out about the basically basically the only reason I had a TV before, besides watching college football. I liked watching it. I would probably watch it if I had a TV. But I watched the news and I watched the History Channel. And now I know that both of those are lying to me. No, I don't miss TV at all. I'll turn it on. I'll turn on YouTube videos. Because especially the news, they're protected by the First Amendment here in the States, and they lie to us. They use it against us. They're lying to us. They're just telling you a story. They're programming you. No, Dad, the young ones don't. They've got too many toys out there for them to play with and not pay attention. Yeah, I don't even keep up with the news or anything on here anymore because it's all they might as well call it bad news. I mean, I understand bad things happen. Good things happen too, but man, it seems like they're talking like talking. I'm not sure what you mean, CA. Well, I'll listen to news radio just because I don't listen to music anymore because I think a lot of the music is another form of programming. But I will listen. I mean, I'm still interested in what happens in this world, and I still question it what they're telling me on there. See, I don't know about that deer. Why would they lose that much? There's other animals out there. There's big cats out there, bears. There's other predators, wolves. All that's out there. You know what I think it is? I think that these boogers totally destroy their evolution lies, and they're backed by the Bible. I mean, the Bible has a lot to say about giants. And I'm not saying that, Bigfoot's Nephilim because I don't know that. But I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if they were. See, I haven't even heard about the shootings. I mean, yeah, exactly, Jay. He's suing the Bible. I mean, there's all kinds of different things in there about him. Okay, you're talking about Bigfoot. I thought you was talking about like the news, like the Charlie Brown cartoons. Wah, 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 wah. That's what I hear whenever I listen to the news. But yeah, I've heard the gibberish out there before, Actually, we heard it whenever Jay and Pam were down here. We heard it up by their campers while we was out here feeding their faces. Yeah, I've definitely heard that before. I mean, I've heard English words help. I heard that plain as day. There was nobody here, so like I said, I even walked outside the holler and couldn't find it. But I mean, it was just I've heard a few English words. They're great mimics. They can mimic about any critter there is out there. Hello, Bob. How you doing tonight? Like the Sierra sounds, Ron Moorhead. I think that's some boogers. I've heard similar stuff to that. I mean, like I said, I've heard them make all sorts of different noises. And the one I call the bush talk that was actually the creepiest to me. I mean, it's like a series of clicks and pops. And it's like they was having a conversation back and forth. I was laying down in the back of my truck, and they were close. I've had different smells here. I've had everything from like the wet dog smell to the putrid something has been dead for a while smell, to a lemony smell. I mean, just all sorts of different smells. Skunk smells. I mean, there's been different smells here. I mean, it's odd. It's like you only smell that whenever the wind shifts, because I think that they can. I think they know about smells and how to stay downwind of you. I mean, they're not stupid. I don't think I've ever really smelled a strong urine smell. Not that I can remember. But like I said, there's just been all types of different smells. See you later, UFO man. I think some of us are teeth. Yeah, I think it's all of that, Ryan. I mean, it was like a. I mean, some of it sound like kind of like turkey noises, like turkeys will make. But this was at 3 o'clock in the morning in a camp with a smoldering fire, and there's no turkeys around then. I guarantee there wasn't a turkey within a within a mile of us. Yeah, did the wind shift? Because I think a lot of the times I've been hunting before and turkey hunting, and I like do a turkey call, and they would call back. It wasn't a turkey's calling back; it was something trying to sound like a turkey calling back. And the wind would shift, and they would change positions. They would move around. And one time, it came from Stinky Holler one time, and it just smelled like death, like the old death, because the wind shifted. And that's where one of the calls were coming from. Like Aborigines, I tell you what, it's like. It's like the African bush tribes and stuff. How they use that language with the pops and the clicks and such. It's exactly what it was like. Oh wow. Well, I mean, if you think about it, they don't use soap and take. I don't know. They might get in a creek or something to take a bath or something like that. But like the fingerprints that they've left here are greasy. Like they've got a lot of like woolly skin or whatever. So they're not taking a bath all the time. So I guess if one was to pee, maybe it'd run down his legs or something, and they probably do have a strong smelling, like a musky smelling pee or whatever. I've never smelled that. Yep, the King James Version is what I would go with. Because it's the closest in its translation to the Hebrew. The Hebrew was translated to Greek, and then King James Version took its closest translation from the Greek and the Hebrew. Because there's a lot of difference in the different Bibles that's out there. I don't know why they would rub it, but they are, a hairy beast that gets. I was talking about this the other night. They kill deer, and maybe they rip open the hide or whatever and get the guts out and eat the guts. I mean, that makes a mess. I've gutted deer before. You make a mess doing it. I mean, it's hard to get out from your fingernails and all that, which I've got pretty rough hands from turning wrenches. And it's hard to get that stuff off. I mean, you've got to, once that blood dries, you've got to scrub that stuff off. I would disagree with that, Bob. I would go with the older version, and then you could, if you really want to get into a study, then you could look up the old words and see what they mean and stuff. But, I mean, with all the technology we have nowadays, you can look up different things and find out exactly what it means in today's English. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Bob. The NIV, I mean, I've talked about it before, and I hate to talk about anybody's religion or their Bible, but I would suggest just getting the King James Version because it's the closest translated. I think dogs just like. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, Debbie. To be honest with you, I don't see what the point would be unless it's to mask their smell. But then again, they're highly aware of their smell. I think, like I said, they try to stay downwind of you. So why would they want to be all stinky? I don't think they would do it on purpose, but maybe they do. I don't know. If I ever see one doing it, though, I'll let you know. Maybe ask him why he's doing that. I mean, I've heard that they've got scent glands underneath their armpits and all this and all that, but I mean, I don't know that. I mean, that's just something somebody said, and believe it or not, some folks just ain't honest. That's why they invented politicians. I don't think they travel that far, like in a straight line of miles. I think they've got. Just imagine like a big circle, and I'm sure it's not, an exact circle or anything, but they've got they got a pretty big area here. I've walked my butt off following their trails, and it goes pretty far. Yeah, exactly, Matt. If you look stuff up, then you've just got to study some more. I mean, and then it sticks with you better. So I don't know about my neighbors, like Uncle Bob and a couple of cousins that live close to me. Yeah, they have, but I haven't really talked to my neighbors too much about it. I plan to one of these days, but I don't know, maybe when the time is right. Wow, really, Bob? That's so. You think they understand like English or just the intent? Like, you know what I mean? See, I've heard quite a few people saying that they like to stick their hands up underneath their arms, like their armpits or whatever. But I mean, that's just, I don't know. Who knows for sure? I've never seen one's face clearly. I've never had an up close sighting. Just what I've seen has been a fast, huge blur. Yeah, kind of like bears range, kind of like a territory like that. That's what I think they do. I don't think they migrate or anything like that. Like maybe in certain areas they do. I think they probably follow like the game out in the Rocky Mountains. You know, the game will go up higher in the summer and stay down in the lowlands in the winter. They probably follow the game like that. Plus, you know, they don't want to be up on a big cold freezing mountain either in the winter. I wouldn't think. You know, Lord, I mean, that's kind of interesting. You know, maybe they would mess with a skunk just to smell like a skunk. Hunters use cover scents, right? So maybe they do. I mean, that would kind of make sense. See, that's amazing to me. I think they understand some of the things that I say, but I can't say nothing for sure. Well, like I said, I've heard the underarm things, and I mean, just to put it bluntly, humans' underarms will stink. So maybe something like that. Yeah, I'll go with that, Digger. Except for I think the PG film had a bit more to it. I'd say they do go further than that. I would say in a straight line from here, they might range out to 10 miles because I think that my clan actually goes over to the lake. And I don't know. I mean, never know. Unless you could find one with a funny footprint that's totally stands out, like maybe a broke toe or missing a toe or something like that, and track it. It'd be hard to tell. Or put some kind of GPS tag on them. But I have, what was it, last year, maybe a year before it. Like now, I found all those tracks in the same area. Then I would find those same size tracks in different areas away from here. That's kind of how I got it. Yeah, they're like a bottle rocket fast. I like J.C. Johnson's work. I think he was, I like anybody's work. No matter if I don't agree with something that they said or kind of question something they say, as long as they're honest about it. That's what I like. And J.C. Johnson was always honest about it. You know, if he ever said anything, he would have some sort of evidence to back it up and such. Oh yeah, they've definitely got a metatarsal break in their prints. And the one I seen across the trail in front of me was on all fours. And it was, I mean, like I said, like a bottle rocket, like a blur going across that trail. It was so fast. No comment on the good doctor's work. Like I said, the one that crossed the trail in front of me was, I think it had a young one on its back, and it wasn't, the one that was on all fours running wasn't huge. I think it might have been not fully grown. President Trump said to take your leaves up to avoid fires. Well, that's good advice. Right. Except for it rains. Rains so much. Yeah, I seen her thermal video. The recent one, or the one whenever I was there? Well, I've seen them both, so yeah. Oh yeah, I think the brake helps them. I think they've got a highly flexible foot. Probably helps them in climbing, or kind of like an 8-foot or whatever. Except for that toe don't diverge like that. Sometimes you gotta get your leaf blower out and look for your GoPro. Hello, Tracy. Hope you had a good holiday too. Actually cleared all my leaves out during my vacation. No, it was before my vacation. I done that. No, I don't know. It was before Jay came down the last time. Whenever that was. Lord, it's so crazy and hectic around here. I hear you. I'm coffeeed out for the day. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Bigfoot, but whenever my uncle was on top of the roof, it's been a couple of years ago, and fell off, he was blowing the gutters out, and he about died, and was in the hospital. Whenever he first came through, I was having some kind of conversation about the leaves. I think I said I was going to go, finish raking the yard or something, and or maybe he might have said something, mentioning it about getting the rest of the yards raked up, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And Granny said, well, why would you do that? And he said, fire, Mom. And it was, the first thing he said that actually made any sense, because he was talking all kinds of nonsense at the time. Yes, I have, and that's why I got the leaf blower out and had to go look for my GoPro. Yeah, today was my Monday, even though it's Sunday. I had to work today. Seems like everything gets piled up over the weekend somehow. And, but anyway, I guess I've rambled on enough. I've even forgot about Killboxes. Yeah, there is a reason and evidence behind why I talk about Killboxes, and I think a lot of their structures have to do with hunting. So again, just type in my channel's name in Killbox and go back and look at some of the evidence that I've collected. Yeah, he fell off. He was in the hospital for a couple of months, and I had to go back and forth between here and Logan and working and all that, and then taking Granny over to see him because they had him in Charleston, West Virginia, and it was a pretty rough go, but we got through it. The Lord is good. Last count, and I mean, it's an estimation judged by the amount of footprints I found in a year. I'm guessing I'm saying around 8. Anywhere between, but I'll say between 6 and 10, because there might have been some rogue ones coming through. And I don't think I ever found the alpha male's track. But yeah, I'm guessing around 8 in this local clan. But yeah, I haven't seen them all. Like I said, I've seen a couple, and they have been different sizes, and all of them's pretty much dark colored. I mean, that might be a good idea, Scott. Fresh out of GPSs. That would be an interesting idea, but I don't know. I mean, I would love to know their travel patterns and how far out they do go and how long they stay in one area and all that good stuff. I mean, it would be an excellent thing to do, but you gotta. I mean, like the Care Bear we had switched. I still haven't found the Care Bear. I mean, it's been gone for a while, and I'm out in the woods quite often. And I haven't found it around here, but they'll leave it in stuck up in trees and stuff. They just move the move it or move it around, and I'll find it, bring it back here, and then they'll take it again. So who knows if they actually pack it with them? I mean, as far as I know, they don't have pockets to put anything in, and anything that they would have to take, they're carrying with their hands, and I just don't see them doing that like all the time. I mean, they've screamed at me before, and rocks have been thrown my way. I don't think they actually threw the rocks at me. One night, I had done a loud call, and a pretty good sized chunk of wood flew right by my head and hit my truck. But I don't think it's. I think the only time they really got aggressive was the scream, because it just sounded like a scream, and then they like did a growl grunt type thing at me, and that was right after I put the game camera in the dog food, and I think they got a little bit mad about that, or they might have been mad about the logging being done. They might have a pouch for all I know. I don't think so, but MK Davis has a video out talking about Patty, and thinking that maybe she had like some kind of handbag, a purse or something, but maybe Patty was just fashionable, hair braids and whatnot. Well, I think that they've probably been here since time immemorial, but I just found out about them a few years ago, and like I said, that's when the logging was being done here, and they were stealing all the dog food. So I tried to put a stop to that by putting the camera up, and that might have made them mad. And I mean, I think they've always been here. I've just been too stupid to realize it, and brainwashed to realize it. But now I think it's more of a, I guess, friendly relationship or respectful relationship. There's been boundaries set on both sides, I think. I mean, it might be, baby Booger packing a Care Bear around everywhere. Like I said, I've never really found maybe I have found the Alpha's footprint. The biggest one I ever found around here is like 16 and a half inches, which is, pretty good size. But I found one out at the lake before that was 17 and a half inches. That's the biggest one I've ever found. But one time I was headed out to work, and out of the corner of my eye, I seen this huge form. And it's right up here where they built a structure that I call a human observation post. And that thing was huge. And I just kind of looked at it out of the corner of my eye and just kept driving, maybe 10 more yards, and then it registered. What was that? There's nothing there, I backed up and it was gone. And whatever it was huge. The thing that ran across my porch that time was huge. I thought it was a cow. So that might have been the alpha. However, I haven't found these tracks, I don't think. No, I've never casted a print. I've never bought the mix to cast them with. I probably ought to get some to keep it just in case I do come. That one I found in the creek would have been a good one to cast, I think, but never really tried to cast prints. Nope, never did find the Cody. Yeah, they're very sneaky. I think they like the Native Americans used to do, play count coup and do stuff just to get a rise out of you and just to mess with your head. I think they get tickled over that or something. They're like big kids. Is it? Yeah, you seen the eye shine that night, didn't you, man? Crocs. Alright, well, this is just getting weird now. Right, exactly. I mean, I would like to get, like, if I do find one good footprint, that would be a good castable footprint. I would like to give it just to have one, but after that, I think I'd be done with it. I'm not, I've measured several prints, then, what's the point? I mean, if I got one, it would be for decoration, and that's about it. I don't understand what the point of having a bunch of them would be. And what are you going to do with them? I've got enough crap laying around already. Yeah, good paperweight or something. Just something more to dust, No, I haven't actually noticed anything with the weather, but here's what I think about the weather. Say people have more sightings in the summer or on a sunny day. Well, that's just because they're not out in the winter and the rainy day as much, right? I mean, you have to have two things for a sighting. You have to have a human there and a Bigfoot there. So not a whole lot of people go trudging around in a cold rain or something like that. Back whenever I used to keep my logs and stuff, whenever stuff would happen, I'd have more stuff, see more stuff in the summertime. Well, I got to think, well, that's because you're out more in the summer, right? I mean, I'll go out on pretty days. I'm a fair weather booger. I'm not getting out in the rain and ruining my equipment and being miserable. Oh, I think they already hide their tracks. They see me getting down and measuring tracks, so I mean, you've got to really look hard for tracks anyway. I've seen where they've walked up beside logs or stepped beside trees and stuff, and I think they're just hiding their tracks in the snow. Whenever it snows here, they don't come up to the house like they normally do. I think they're highly aware of their tracks already. Yeah, I'll just measure mine and keep record of them like that. I'm probably not the best at keeping records. I'm the best on the farm at keeping them, but like I said, I used to write all this down. Now I just do the videos, and probably a lot of my videos don't make a whole lot of sense to people, but they do to me, and it helps me to remember. Cause maybe I could write something down and go back and look at it and be like, well, what the heck was I talking about? But anyway. Alright, guys. Well, I think I'm going to hit the hay. It's going on 1 o'clock here. That's awesome. Anyway, thank y'all for joining me. Thank you for the good conversation tonight. Y'all have a good night, and God bless.